Spiritual telepathy is a well-documented phenomenon that can be experienced by those who are spiritually awakened and engaged. It can allow us to communicate telepathically with anyone we have a spiritual connection with. Doing so requires a good amount of spiritual work, but it can be worth it. Besides, we should do this spiritual work anyway. So let's explore how we can communicate telepathically with someone. Establish a spiritual connection. The first thing that is necessary if we want to be able to communicate with someone telepathically is that we must establish a spiritual connection with them. This is necessary as it is along the spiritual connection that we send and receive the energies that constitute the telepathic messages. Sometimes we can skip this step if we already have an innate spiritual connection, such as with a soulmate or twin flame. In order to establish a spiritual connection, we simply need to spend enough time with them for our energies to attune to each other enough for the connection to form. This process is sped up by strong emotional energies, so an emotional connection can mean a speedy spiritual connection process. Particularly with love connections, some connections can form in moments. Harness the connection. Next, we must foster the spiritual connection and attune ourselves to its energies. The best way to do this is to embark on spiritual missions with each other. Typically this involves mutual personal growth, learning things about ourselves and fixing our own shortcomings and supporting each other in this process. The key thing here is to be open and aware. Opportunities for spiritual growth tend to be hidden in the day-to-day of our lives and can slip by unnoticed if we are not being attentive. Pay particular attention to differences with each other, as these areas are prime areas for spiritual growth. Meditative practice. Lastly, we need to engage in meditative practice to use this spiritual connection to communicate telepathically. To call someone with our mind, we must form our call into energy and send it across our spiritual connection with them. We enter into a meditative state, perhaps using aromas such as lemon and other citrus scents to focus the mind and allow clarity of energy. Then, we concentrate within the chest and familiarize ourselves with the connections to it. Feel the energy patterns and learn to recognize them. Call up a memory of the other person, preferably one with a strong emotional attachment. We should begin to recognize the patterns and energies that match with the connection in our heart chakra. Once we can feel the stream of energy that pours in and out, we have found the spiritual connection. At this point, we should deliver our message. We can just think the words or say them out loud, but to begin with, it may be better to keep the message short. Emotions are easier to transmit than language, and often the words are lost in transit.